Welcome back. You're watching France 24. It's time for Media Watch, our roundup of the top stories in the French press today. James Creedon is here with all that. Hi, James.
Good evening, Nana.
And we start with famous French writer Michel Houellebecq. He's one of the most famous novelists at the moment here. Earlier this week, he was thought to have gone missing. What happened?
Well, he was due to turn up for a book tour, Lana, in Belgium and in the Netherlands. Now, his book that won the Goncourt Prize last year, a big prize here in France, The Map and the Territory, was translated into Dutch, the Dutch language. So he was due to turn up in Brussels and other cities in Belgium and the Netherlands for a book tour. Didn't turn up at all. His publisher, his agent, his translator, everybody was sort of confused as to where he might be. No one could contact him. And all of these rumours started cropping up online on Twitter that perhaps he might have been kidnapped by Al-Qaeda, because his writings are sometimes seen as being a little bit anti-Islamic. And all sorts of crazy rumours like that. But, you know, it was true that no one could really track him down. So it ranged from the absurd to, I suppose, genuine concern for his well-being. In any case, let's go to Le Figaro if we have a look at what's online here. Michel Houellebecq va bien, merci.
He's fine. He's doing well. He's
doing
safe
well.
and sound.
We've located him. He's alive. He's not in some awful camp, some Al-Qaeda camp somewhere. He's okay. Now, basically, his editor managed to reach him at his home in Spain. He was without internet or phone connection, said that he completely forgot about this book tour, and was just flabbergasted when he was told of all these incredible rumours. Now,
that's pretty interesting, because you spend 2 days without internet or a phone connection,
right,
and people start getting all sorts of ideas about where you are.
I mean, Twitter is crazy for this kind of stuff. People just go completely off the wall. Let's have a look at what some people have been saying. Tant pis, on a retrouvé Michel Houellebecq.
Oh, that
They're saying they're
disappointed.
Right. Oh, what a pity they found him. So obviously not a fan of his work. And others are saying quel roi de la promo. What a king of PR.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is that a publicity stunt?
Well, who knows? I mean, I guess Michel is the only one who actually knows that, because it did get everyone talking about him, and it was for a book tour.
And it is sort of like him.
Right. He's a bit weird. So in any case, who knows what he was up to? And here's somebody, that's Rue 89, the left-leaning website, saying, phew, he hasn't been captured by Al-Qaeda. But I think they're probably a bit tongue-in-cheek about that.
Another controversial Frenchman in the news today, that's Dominique Strauss-Kahn.
Yes.
It never ends. There's a new twist in the case being taken against him here by Tristan Banon, a young journalist.
That's right. And L'Express, if we have a look online here, L'Express, the weekly magazine, they had the exclusive on this one. Dominique Strauss-Kahn admits that he wanted to kiss Tristan Banon.
No, she's accusing him of rape, so something completely different.
Right, so perhaps you could say somewhere between a kiss and what she accuses lies the truth. But it's an absolutely massive gap indeed. Now, he was questioned by the police on Monday the 12th of September about this case. This is the other big case apart from the Nafissatou Diallo case, which has ended now over in New York. So basically, she accused him back in 2003 of trying to rape her during an interview in an apartment somewhere in the south of Paris. And he was questioned for the first time on this by the police, and now he says, well, I did want to kiss her. So there you go. The mystery continues. Now, he's going to give an interview to TF1 television here in France on Sunday.
Yes, that's a hotly anticipated interview on primetime television Sunday
Absolutely.
evening.
And I mean, I'm going to tune in. I guess you'll be we'll all be tuning in. It's really everybody is waiting to see what he's going to say about what's been happening since his arrest in New York. And you can be sure he'll be questioned on this point as well, on that Tristan Banon case.
Next, staying with French news, of course, the presidential campaign is really getting underway, and yesterday was a big day for that. The socialist candidates held a primary debate, so to speak. The socialist primary is coming up next month. They had a televised debate yesterday.
That's right, and I think we have some of the pictures of the end of this debate, because what people tend to focus on with this is not really what they were arguing about or what the details were, but, you know, did they smile at each other? What did they wear? How was their hair done? Stuff like that, you know? And so really what a lot of people focused on, and I think we have some of the pictures of at the very end of last night's debate. In any case, what happened was Ségolène Royal, and we can see it here, there's a photo of it if we go to the computer. Ségolène Royal, she was the candidate last time out, and François Hollande, who is the favourite this time out, and they're former partners with 4 children together. They shook hands. Now, in France...
They separated a few years ago, of course.
Right. In France, you would expect people who have that level of familiarity with each other to kiss each other on the cheek. It's the French way of doing things. And indeed, François Hollande did give Martine Aubry, the former head of the party, and his chief rival, really, in the primary, he did kiss her on the cheek. So people focused on this. Oh, how is it, that this must mean that Ségolène Royal and François Hollande are really on bad terms.
Right, because so he greeted her in a much more formal way.
Right. But what some have been pointing out is that Ségolène Royal shook hands with everybody. It wasn't just François Hollande. So people might be jumping on this. But if we have a look elsewhere on Twitter, you can see here this particular tweet. What must the children of François Hollande and Ségolène Royal have thought seeing their parents facing off on TV last night? And indeed, that kind of private drama behind the scenes is gripping a lot of people. You can see here on The Guardian.
It's a very unique situation to have both your parents be presidential candidates.
It's extraordinary.
It's strange.
I just can't imagine what it must be like to look at that on TV. You're probably just hiding your head under a pillow or something, or just diving under the couch. Here, French Socialist Party election overshadowed by love triangle. That was The Guardian's coverage of this last week, and I think they've pretty much hit the nail on the head. That's what a lot of people were focusing on.
Finally, teachers here have found a novel way to protest against budget cuts in the French education system. A pretty humorous protest. So they've come out with a naked calendar.
A naked calendar. Now, I'll give a bit of context to this one, Lan. I think you probably know what I'm going to come up with here. This is famous in France. It's called the Dieu du Stade calendar. It's brought out every year. It's a sort of a homoerotic calendar by rugby players for the Stade Francais team, and they have various photos like this. This is pretty mild stuff, actually.
These aren't teachers. These are France's
These
star
are rugby
athletes.
players, and this calendar is brought out every year. It's a big gimmick, a massive success, and it sells loads and loads of copies, makes a lot of money. And as I said, this, there's a lot worse than this. So teachers, to draw attention to the fact that their profession has seen a lot of job cuts and a lot of money cuts, have come up with this. Les dieux de l'estrade, and l'estrade is sort of, I suppose, where the teacher will stand in the classroom. So you've got various, just to very quickly go through them, Shakespeare to pire being worst, I suppose.
Shakespeare to worst. It's a French pun, I suppose.
And this is very specific in French politics. La Princesse de Clèves sans chemise. Here's a teacher referring to the Princesse de Clèves, a famous French book that Nicolas Sarkozy once said shouldn't be taught in French schools. And so, they go through it. You have another one here talking about how technology classes are being cut. So it's an interesting way to draw attention to job cuts, and quite a funny way to
it is. It's pretty humorous. It's not quite Les Dieux du Stade, but
no, not quite Les Dieux du Stade,
but it's a good idea.
Same principle, I guess.
Thanks very much for that, James
Thanks,
Creedon. That was Media Watch on France 24. Do stay tuned. Coming up after the break is Web News.
The latest trends in food, the best places to eat, all the insider news on products and places. France Bon Appétit. From star chefs to food critics, from farmers to bakers, from local producers to winemakers. Meet the people who are making the headlines in French cuisine. France Bon Appétit. Essential viewing for lovers of French food. Saturday, 6:45 a.m. Paris time on France 24.